From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on Lalate.
It's a big midday here on Lalate with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go over that recon that'll pay most viewers of this channel upwards of $15,000. We'll go over cluster number one, which includes hazard pay. We'll go over the add-on from Maxine Waters of $25,000 of hard cash to you. We'll go over cluster number two, pass, which has home repairs in there. And then Bob Casey's proposed add-on of $250 billion for you if you're on SSI, SSDI, and if you're a senior. Cluster number three, passed, including more money for seniors. Then we'll be going over the details that no one saw coming, and these are big, as now a possible deal is in the works with Joe Manchin. Wow, this is a big one. I have the latest details at noontime. Then we go over the surprise, as now more student loan debt has been forgiven. And then finally, as COLA is going to 6%, how does this impact your fifth stimulus? How does this impact your fourth stimulus? I have all the latest details in today's recording. Then we cut back over to the exciting great details of third stimulus, fourth stimulus, and what's going on this weekend, because there's a lot happening. It's a big noontime. The exciting detail starts right here. It starts right now, and I'm excited you're here, live from Santa Monica. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are. It is gorgeous here along the coast here in Santa Monica, California. In this big noontime broadcast, so much breaking news about that fourth stimulus check update of 2021. We'll go over the shockers that are abound at noontime. First, we'll be going over these incredible details of checks. Checks that'll pay viewers of this channel upwards of about $15,000 across all these cluster one, hazard pay. And then the add-on of $25,000 from Maxine Waters. What is it? I'll explain it in this video. We'll be going over cluster number two, those home repairs, and the add-on from Bob Casey. What is he adding in there? I'll go over it. Then cluster number three, the money for seniors. Then we'll be cutting back to the deals that are now being proposed with Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, and also Bernie and Jalopal. The latest comments from Pelosi as she came out swinging and saying, we're going to get the recon done. We're going to get it done because we have to get the recon done. Wow. I see the path to getting this finished. I shall show you how the path to getting this finished. And as one person said on the Morning to LA show in the live chat, thank you for explaining climate. I now see how they can get this done. Thank you for that explanation. You're going to learn a lot because there's a lot of breaking news at noontime. So subscribe. This is Lalate, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning like right now and taped in the afternoons. Coming up later today is the 1 o'clock afternoon show. Then the 3 o'clock afternoon show. Totally brand new and a lot of breaking news. Don't miss that. That is going to be a massive show. Then the big evenings LA show tonight, I'm debating whether a familiar star should return. Then we have shows tonight at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, and away we go. Let's go into first the big exciting details as cluster after 1, 2, and 3 have been passed. What's important to understand is that when you look at this recon, it is a recon for you. It is a recon for single people, for married people, for SSI and SSDI, for seniors, for people with kids and people without kids. And it'll pay most viewers of this channel upwards of about $15,000. That is what this recon will pay you as a viewer of this channel if you stay with me and you go over the videos with me daily. But let's first turn to the first cluster of checks that got in there and their hazard pay. And elder care. Wow, these are incredible. Let's go over all the details of what's in the first cluster. First cluster has the hazard pay, brought in the earned income tax credit so more people qualify for it and increase in the payout. So more essential workers get more money. Then up to $4,000 a year of elder care, $4,000 a year for young children's care. They got money in there for free home repairs. Yes, if you live in a low-income community, federal government give you free money for those home repairs. Then they got money in there for college students, grants to them, to the university, and the Pell Grant made tax-free. They got money in there of $51,000 a monthly stimulus checks. The CTC broadened the eligibility, so now it'll be up to $300 a month every month for 18 years, which is $51,000 a child. They got money in there for bikes, cars, and trucks, all U.S., all electric. 15% for the purchase of a new electric bike, $7,500 for a new electric vehicle, personal use, and a little bit more if it's for business use. And that's just where we're getting started with the first cluster of 3 clusters that pay you about $15,000. But let's get now ready for the big surprise as an additional $25,000 is now being proposed to be added on top of that as the first add-on covered in this video. This comes from Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters is proposing to give you cold hard cash of $25,000 for what? To buy your first home. This is a biggie. How do I think they'll likely do this? During the escrow of the purchase of price of a new home, the federal government will fund $25,000 directly to the seller, so you don't have to pay that $25,000. Wow, there you go. But get ready, because we're going to the second cluster of checks. These are approved in that $3.5 trillion recon, that subcommittee of the House. Here we go, as we go into the second cluster of checks, and these are home repairs, more of them, and paid leave. Again, these are deliciousness. The paid leave, how much is it? $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. $800 a week if you make $35,000 a year. $400 a week if you make $15,000 a year based upon prior stimulus calculations. Then they got money in there for childcare programs, household tax credits, money for seniors like dental and vision, which see the third cluster comes up again. And then they got a definitely important provision in there, more money to repair your home with weatherizing your home checks. Wow, definitely need to weatherize your home, definitely, especially if the moderate Democrats are on the roof. As I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House, and wherever possible, keep the moderate Democrats out of the Senate. They also got in there universal pre-kindergarten and tuition-free community college. Wow, that's the second cluster of checks passed. But now ready for the second add-on, and it comes from Bob Casey. Bob Casey is proposing to add in an additional $250 billion for my seniors and my people on disability. People on SSI and SSDI will be ecstatic to hear this one. Bob Casey, who is, of course, 61 years old, and he's a Democrat from Pennsylvania, proposes to provide $250 billion to state and local so that they can offer free services to my seniors and also to my people on disability, like free home health care. This is a biggie. And how does it work? Basically, it's based upon the concept that a lot of people's kids and sons and daughters stay home from the workplace because they care for their parents because home health care is too expensive. Now the state and local will provide that free, is one of the proposals, so that you have better care as an elder person or person on disability, and your son and daughter can go work and make a sum of money if they wish to. Wow, that's incredible. That is the second add-on to these clusters. Let's go to the third cluster, and this is also going to give you a work exclusive. These are passed, and there's more money in there for seniors as well. We're going to go over them starting right now, and here we go. It has free school meals all for checks, free school meals for all checks, tax-based checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, checks for farmers, checks for free internet, checks for clean energy, checks for workers like independent contractors, checks for seniors like dental checks, vision checks, hearing checks, and lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, which brings me to another world exclusive. This channel has learned via Bob Casey's office that he will be proposing to drop the Medicare eligibility age from 65 to 60 in this third cluster of checks. There you go. Time for the third add-on to these 3 clusters that pay about $15,000 of viewers this channel, and that is that monthly IRS stimulus check. We have incredible great news, and if you missed it yesterday, let me deliver it to you right now. The news is that this channel has now delivered over 3 million phone calls to legislators on behalf of LA and on behalf of Purple Power for advocacy for inclusion of a monthly stimulus check. far surpassing the American petition, which is at 2.9 million. This is the biggest advocacy platform in the United States, this channel, for an IRS stimulus check, and I appreciate you being part of this advocacy. Here's the message, which comes from a chief of staff in the DC, the lead office for the number one senator for your recon. The staff says that the advocacy they have seen is now surpassed the American petition. How big is it? It's so big that they have never seen anything quite like it. The message was delivered to a viewer from that chief of staff yesterday. And let me tell you what the graphic says if it's too small to read. We now have in total between congressional and senatorial offices received more contacts of advocacy from Lalate than the number of signatures on the American petition. Everyone is amazed by the outpouring of stories from LA viewers. Now that they have more of what has been called a bunch of signatures, now they have what is a better understanding from LA of how the Americans are trying to make it through the pandemic. They have heartbreaking stories from LA Purple Power, and they have the voice of the people, referring to me, across the nation that has become too loud to be ignored. Then the chief of staff delivers this message to me about you and about my recordings. The chief of staff says the following: please continue, Lalate, your encouragement for the continued advocacy as the professional voice of the people you have become until this is over, until this becomes law. There you go. So basically saying, continue doing what you're doing, Lalate, and tell people to keep on pushing until it becomes law. The incredible great news going into the weekend is the number one guy in the Senate wants you to have that monthly stimulus check, and it's Chuck Schumer. Remember, Chuck Schumer said this to Debbie Applegate in the last 7 days and said the same thing to Donnie's wife the week before, that he's inserting a monthly IRS stimulus check provision. Let's go over how they do this and how it works. There is two places that all these three add-ons can be added on. You have Maxine Waters' $25,000 for home. You have Bob Casey's $250 billion for SSI and SSDI money. Then we have the IRS monthly stimulus checks from Chuck Schumer. Three ways they can get this done: House or Senate, with most of the ways on the House and the last ways on the Senate side. First, we have a $3.5 trillion recon pass in a House subcommittee, but it's not a bill, it's just a package drafted by Sheila Jackson. It's still in subcommittee. It's not out of subcommittee. They can still add these items in there. Number two, they can add it in there before it goes to a House bill on the House floor. Number three, after we have a House bill, but before we have a House vote, the House member could say, I like this bill, but I need to change some stuff. I want to add it in there. Then we go over to the Senate side, and the two-day event at the very end called the Votorama. I know it sounds like a B-52 song. It sounds like Studio 54 with disco and big hair and bell-bottom jeans. I know what it sounds like. I did not come up with these terms. It's called the I almost called it the Studio 54. It's called the Votorama. Yeah, the Votorama. It's a two-day event where senators introduce proposed changes to whatever House bill they're given. So they look at the House bill, say it's missing something, they can add something in there. Who's the number one guy that determines what is called for a vote during the Votorama? Chuck Schumer. Who oversees the Votorama? Chuck Schumer. Who determines what's voted on and when it's voted on? Chuck Schumer. Who determines what they wear to the Votorama? Mitch McConnell and the bell-bottom stylist. I couldn't pass that up. So there you go. And that's why it's huge. And meantime, in the second half of this video, we got a lot coming up, folks. Boy, it's a jam-packed show. We have a potential deal in the works for the recon. Oh boy, a potential deal is in the works, and it's with Joe Manchin. It concerns fossil fuels. You're going to see the latest details only at noontime. Then, student loan debt forgiveness, more debt forgiven, and one viewer on Morning's Countdown finding out his debt had been forgiven during a live chat. I mean, it was about as overwhelmingly emotional as I could ever be, and seeing that the viewer's reaction. Then, COLA going up, but that's not the only lift of your benefits. You're going to get 3 lifts in 12 months. I'll explain how this works. It's all real incredible, great news. Then we go over the big surprise as one viewer got additional $36,000 from third stimulus from this channel this week. I'll give you a hint. He got $51,000 before on this channel. now bringing his grand total to nearly $90,000. I'll show you how to get this money because it's available for you. It's third stimulus. It's coming up in the second half of this video. We'll be cutting over to fifth stimulus, how it explains how it's raising your benefits up. We got a big show. It's just getting started, and this is Noontime at Lalate. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now at noontime with incredible big news coming up in the second half of this recording. We'll go over more about that monthly stimulus check and the 3 classes that pay you upwards of $15,000 from this recon. We'll go over a possible deal in the works with Joe Manchin. It's huge. We'll go over that student loan debt forgiveness that is now surprising one viewer and learning during a broadcast his debt is now forgiven. We'll be going over the big colo raise that no one saw coming. We got all these incredible details and more coming up in the second half of this video. We're live here from Santa Monica. We also got the big money from third stimulus, and we're going to meet one viewer who got an additional $36,000 this week. This should be you, and it can be you, and I'm going to show you how to get these sums of money as we go into the second half of this video. And the latest details from Congress and why Nancy Pelosi came in firing strong and firing hot yesterday, saying we must do the recon because we have to do the recon. Wow, what a great big afternoon, half of the show we have, and it starts right now, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. With the breadth of reporting, you're not going to miss anything across the board. Right before this recording, I went over the breaking news about the Bitcoin futures ETF making legendary, historic announcement earlier today. I had it live on air just right before this recording. If you missed that show, watch it. It's a game changer for cryptocurrency. I explained basic what it is. Also coming up later is 1 o'clock's Afternoons LA. The show will automatically take you there. So subscribe, like the video, and consider becoming a member. But let's go to the big surprises that's happening with one no one saw coming. And that one that no one saw coming is the student loan debt forgiveness. Wow, this is a big one. And I got to tell you, if you didn't see what happened earlier today, you really missed it. During the live chat of the tape show Mornings Countdown, one viewer said, "Is that me? Has my debt been forgiven?" I said, "Yeah. Congratulations, your debt is now forgiven." Didn't know it until he saw the video. What's going on? The president had forgiven one student loan debt round about a month ago. The president a month ago said if individuals became disabled after graduation, your debt had been forgiven. But this week, the president forgave 2 more sets of debts. First, the president forgave debts of individuals who went into the nonprofit sector for a decade after graduation. Second one, or this is the third item, the president forgave student loan debts for people who went into work for the public sector, city, county, state, or federal government over 10 years after graduation. And that was one viewer who was watching it as it was reported on this channel, saying in the live chat, the viewer, I've been a employee of the federal prison since graduation. Do you mean my debts have been forgiven? I said, yes, sir, they have. Did not know it till he had watched that video. He said, well, what do I do? I said, you start making those phone calls right today to tell them, because they don't know that's where you are. You now get those debts forgiven. It's literally just like that. If you went into, for example, become a public school teacher over the last 10 years, or you became a sanitation driver after graduation, your debts are now forgiven. Congratulations. The president is now proposing an additional $10,000 to be forgiven for everyone across the board. Democrats are looking for a bigger number on top of that. Let's go to the big surprise that you are only hearing on this channel. And viewers in the Morning to LA show said, thank you for explaining this, because it seems like it could be a complicated story, but it's not when I go slowly. A possible deal in the works with Joe Manchin for the recon. And it concerns climate. What is going on here? So Joe Manchin is the state of West Virginia, and one of the number one, and West Virginia has a lot of industries, but one of the biggest industries is fossil fuels. There's 3 clusters that have been passed, and one of the series of checks that are in these clusters concern climate. I say climate, you say climate, and we often think, oh, the sky, the sun, the breeze, the weather. No, that's not climate. Climate is electric, is EV, electric consumption, clean energy, carbon, carbon in the environment, things like that. And this is actually one of the big industries that is in West Virginia, and it's also one of the big subject matters for Joe Manchin. It's all of his Twitter handle. We know that there's 3 things the moderate Democrats don't like about the recon. 1, Joe Manchin doesn't like the way the climate is written. Number 2, Tristan Sinema doesn't like the prescription medication covered in the 3rd cluster. And number 3, the moderate Democrats don't like the price tag in the $3 trillion. They want it somewhere in the $2 trillion. Okay, I'm going to get to that in a second, the $2 trillion. Well, here you go. A big shocker. Someone in the White House had a brilliant idea on Wednesday, and it got out by Thursday, and I have more about it today as well. The shocker that came out is that the White House realized a way to make a deal with Joe Manchin is to take one of the provisions in the cluster that have been passed so far about climate and change the language so that the industries in Joe Manchin's state qualify for the money. Wow. What an obvious way to get this deal done. Lawmakers in the White House considered changing some of the language in the past recon that concerns coal and natural gas power plants so that fossil fuel providers in Manchin's state of West Virginia qualify for applying for this big money. And everyone says, yeah, why not? Of course, this is an easy fix. Do it, and Manchin may be on board. Because this is all that Manchin ever talks about is his state and the fossil fuels and those energy companies. If you get them on board with the language that Manchin likes, done. Then Kristen Sinema, all you do is you fix the language about the prescription medication. She's on board. And the $2 trillion, I'm going to show you how to do the $2 trillion right now. The $2 trillion is a very, very simple way to get that done. And the $2 trillion sort of, if you've been with this channel for the last few weeks, you've seen me go over a series of exclusives where I said, I think this is what it is, but I don't know. And then I get confirmation from Jayalapal that it is. And those have progressed to a point now that virtually everything that I've been saying over what the recon was is now correct. Let's go back. The recon initially was to be $7 trillion. During the negotiations, before we had any legislation, Bernie went to negotiations asking for $7 trillion. At the time, I told viewers on camera, I think Bernie's asking for 20-year programs that run for 20 years. Why so long? We now know why so long, because the president wanted the programs to run far after the president stays in office, far after the president's even alive. He wants them to run for many, many generations, say, oh, that was a Biden program, from 20 years ago. Didn't happen that way, because after Bernie went to the negotiations asking for $7 trillion, they said too much. So he said, I'll cut the duration. We know that because I've been saying that all along. We didn't know how much he cut the duration, to how many years. I've been speculating he cut it to 10 years because 7 to 3.5 is exactly half. That he went from 20 to 7, that he went from 20 to 10 years. Guess what? 2 days ago, we got confirmation from Jalapal. He did. He went from 20 to 10 years. That the programs in the recon now are 10 years. Exactly what I had speculated was the actual running time. Then 2 weeks ago, I said they can get this from $3.5 trillion recon to a low $2 trillion recon by just shortening the duration of how long the programs run again. Instead of running 10 years, running 5 years. And then 2 days later, Jalapal said that. And then going into yesterday, Jalapal said, that's the way we do it. Nancy Pelosi had a press conference on Tuesday, said we have 2 ways to do this, and one of the ways is shutting the duration. And Jalapal said, thank goodness Nancy said that, because that's the way we want to do it. Now, let's go over how this works, and then let's go over Jalapal's comments and Nancy's comments. The way this works is the following. It's very, very simple. Currently, the recon is $3.5 trillion, and the programs are 10-year programs, meaning they run for 10 years. But $3.5 trillion is a number that the moderate Democrats won't agree to. They'll agree to a number somewhere in the low $2 trillion. You get to it in a blink of an eye in 10 seconds. How? You just shorten the programs to, let's say, 5 years. Why? Because everyone needs a big check, a full check, a real large check now, next year, and maybe the year after that. We don't need to really worry about 8 years from now, 12 years from now. We need to worry about the next few quick years. And that's what everyone is saying. So when, for example, we look at $4,000 of elder care, we want the full $4,000. We don't want $100. We want the full $4,000. We want it this year, we want it next year, we want it the year after that. And then we'll deal with the situation after 5 years. But we're not really worried about 8 years from now. We're worried about a big check right now. And that's how they can do it. And will do it in a blink of an eye. That's how Nancy says she wants to do it. That's how Jalapal says she wants to do it. And it will bring the price tag exactly where the progressives want it, and we're done. We're literally done. Jalapal said that she's not going to reduce the program so they pay you less money. Like, instead of $4,000 of elder care, $200. She said, we're not going to do that. A lot of people have asked me, why is a little bit better than nothing? She said, people have been living on nothing their entire life. We're not going to do that anymore. Then Pelosi says, we're going to get this done in the next few days. Great. Bernie says, we're prepared to compromise. Then Pelosi had this incredible interview that said, basically, climate is king. This is big because you see how the Joe Manchin modification of the climate language will get Joe Manchin on board. Pelosi says central to the reconciliation bill is the climate piece of the legislation. And this is late Thursday into Friday in San Francisco. Pelosi said the recon will get done because it must get done. Wow. I have not heard Pelosi so impassioned for supporting the recon in a long time. Then Alex Padilla, who's a senator here from California, originally from Los Angeles, our city council person, replaced the vice president seat in California. He says, no climate, no deal. These are all big statements because this basically means, hey, you do the recon, then fix the climate, we're done. And Jalapal, in another quote, said, we don't need to focus on running programs for 10 years. We just need to focus on the immediacy of big monies right now. There you go. Very simple. And that is how they can get the recon done in a blink of an eye. Shortening the programs, fixing the climate language, and changing the prescription medication language. Now let's turn to the big surprise that no one saw coming. Cola going up. Wow. Cola's going up 5 to 6%. And what's important to understand is that this cola raise is one of 3 raises you're going to get if you're on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, or any of these beneficiaries. Now, let's back a second. I know you've heard me talk about a lot of benefits for seniors and Social Security in just this video alone. You heard me talk about the third cluster pass had money for seniors. Then you heard Bob Casey proposing to add $250 billion in that. That's all for stimulus. This COLA is already law. It's not waiting around for a bill. It's law. In the next few weeks, your benefits will go up an average of 5 to 6%. This is mind-blowing. This is incredible great news because when I was recording this stimulus videos in July, and Wall Street is looking at the market and saying, I think inflation will be 2% in December. I said, I hope the inflation will be 5%. I think it's going to be 5% because then your benefits are going to go up 5%. Now look what's happening. Your benefits are going to go up nearly 6%, and it's not even with inflation yet. It's only one of 3 lifts. Wow, this is very exciting. This is more than we could ever expected. Let me explain what this is. Then I'm going to go into fifth stimulus and put them together because I know it may be confusing. I'm going to make it very simple for you. Under the existing law, without fifth stimulus, your benefits are going to be raised 5 to 6% in a few weeks. This is the COLA lift being announced by Social Security this week. This is this. That's done. Then they're going to do fifth stimulus. When are they going to do fifth stimulus? Let's say they don't get it to a vote by December. Let's say they get it to a vote in January. The first thing under fifth stimulus is they're going to raise your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, one big time. So that's your second lift. This is your lift of 5 to 6%. After that lift, you're going to get another lift one time under fifth stimulus. Then you're going to get a third lift. The third lift is when they swap out COLA with your new benchmark of inflation for next year's hit at the end of the year. A year from now, when Social Security says your benefits are going to go up, they're going to apply the new benchmark, no longer COLA, it's going to be removed, it's going to be inflation. And inflation next year is not going to be 0%. It's not going to be 0%. Maybe it'll be 2%, maybe it'll be 3%, but it's not going to be 0%. So you're going to get 5.6% lift now. You're going to get another lift right after fifth stimulus becomes law. And then next year, going into the year after that, you're going to get another lift based upon inflation. 3 lifts in 1 year if you're on benefits or multiple beneficiaries. Wow. They're going to remove the asset cap dating back to the 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and also stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to end, and love is going to win, and you'll no longer have to worry about loss of benefits. You'll be able to do a pair dance and get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. Like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married. Now, let's turn to the big surprise, which should not be a surprise to anyone. I've been telling viewers for the last few weeks that third stimulus is still paying money. Last week, we met Prina on this channel. She started the week at $0. She ended the week at $6,000. 5 days later, within 5 days, she got $6,000 from watching my videos. From what? I had said, listen, there's an additional $13 billion going out to cities, counties, and states from Treasury under third stimulus for rent. Go get it. And this is what she wrote. I want to thank you so much, Lalate. When you announced the extra $13 billion to the states, I went out and pounced immediately, automatically emailing the city of Austin. Now I got $6,000 for 8 months of rent. That was last week. But guess what? I got a news story for you at noontime. Mark, $51,000 Mark, he got an additional $36,000 of rent this week, bringing his grand total to $80,000, $90,000 for this channel. Because guess what? If you've gotten money before for this channel, you can get more money right today. So get a pen, paper, and cell phone ready. I'm going to show you how to get some money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, food, clothing, appliances, nominal home repairs, and holiday gifts starting right now. First, we're going to go over the rent and utilities and mortgage assistance. I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to all 6. They have different eligibility. They have different pots of money. Next, get ready for the keywords I say in this video. Those keywords are critical to helping get people approved. And then watch those nonprofits because, boy, they pick up a lot of stuff. First, the rent. Here are the 6 places to reach out to. Your city hall, your city housing authority. Your county hall, your county housing authority. Your state hall, and your state housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. And here are the numbers that people have gotten for rent a month ago. Mark a month ago was $25,000 for rent. He got another $36,000 on top of that. But we have viewers who are getting upwards of $40,000 every week from this channel for rent. If you are on this list, go get more. Because people are going back and getting their 3rd or 4th round of rent because of this channel. Don't presume that you got rent before you can't get more. You can. Utilities. Well, here we go. If you got 5 utilities, reach out to 5. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000 for utilities. Wow. Then SNAP. Get SNAP. SNAP is money for food. You get from Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. And boy, does it pay a lot. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $26,000 a year because of this channel. Why is it going up so much? Because SNAP benefits are going up an average of 25% lifetime automatically nationwide starting this month. Finally, get multiple sums of money. Combo, $32,000 for Nancy. Combo, Mark, that was his old number. His new number is almost $90,000. Combo, Lorraine, 100. That was her old graphic as well. Her new number is about 120. And there you go. Let's turn to the nonprofits. The nonprofits are big success stories because they have different eligibility. Now, we've been doing this for over a year. I launched Purple, this show on this channel that talked about how to get money like this in about a year ago this week, approximately. And even then, there were people saying, there's no money in Florida. Oh, goodness. I made so many videos showing this county and this county and this county. They were all paying. They were all paying. Yesterday, someone was on the live chat saying there's no money in the state of Florida. It was just like all over again. Understand, there's money everywhere. There is money everywhere. If your sister's, brother's, uncle's, daughter's dog dresser, groomer, cat walker, yoga, salsa instructor said to you there's no money in rent in Texas, just ignore the salsa instructor because the salsa instructor needs a salsa way. Doesn't know what the salsa the hell they're talking about. Doesn't know it. If you have contacted all 6 places I just detailed for you and 6 of 6 said no, then have you contacted the 5 nonprofits? You got 11 places to contact before you get a no. If you called up one or your salsa instructor's cat's groomer said there is none, that's not the situation. Here we go. Here are the 5 nonprofits. The 5 nonprofits pick up for money for rent and all the items on the third stimulus, just with different eligibility. And that's because they're nonprofits. The 5 nonprofits are United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. They're also featured in the newsletter for your viewers. It's important to remember that the nonprofits also pay for items that are not covered in any of the stimulus packages. 1, they help with small appliances around the house to keep you warm and comfortable. They have provided furnaces, they have provided portable heaters and air conditioners and fans to viewers of this channel and refrigerators. Next, they often do small nominal repairs like broken windows. Their notion of what they generally do is they want to make sure you are warm or cool, comfortable, and safe. So if it's within that universe and something is an unsafe situation, they come in and often help. Then they help with clothing. For example, if you can't afford clothing and you need clothing, they do that. Homeless people, they get them in the shelters. They help with certain types of food deliveries. So they do very, very unusual things. And again, here are the 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Next, the money from the return of those unemployment benefits from your state. Overpayment of unemployment benefits, yes. Average payment is $2,000 or $5,000. Reach out to your state for it. And then the refund check from the IRS. Average payment is $1,200 to $2,000. Reach out to your IRS at irs.gov. Tracking will reveal it. Margaret got it, Todd got it, Michael got it. Finally, if you have not become a member of this channel, what are you doing? The link is under the video. Members are delivered the newsletter daily from this channel at Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, featuring all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus for you to get. As we look at this 4th stimulus package, with 3 clusters so far and 3 proposed clusters to go in there, just the 3 clusters so far approved, it pays viewers of this channel about $15,000. When third stimulus was passed, and I looked at it, I said, I think it's about $15,000 I can get you from third stimulus. I've been able to get viewers on average about $40,000. Have you been able to get $40,000 from this channel? If you haven't, today's the day to start making those phone calls. Read the newsletter and make the phone calls. Here's what you need to know, is that Mark, in getting $36,000, he didn't make 2 phone calls. Lorraine, in getting $110,000, she didn't make 3 phone calls. Johnny's an example. Johnny, in 5 days, got $80,000 from this channel, but from 7 different items. 7 different items paid him money to add it up to $80,000. Do you think he made 7 phone calls? He probably made 14 phone calls or 15 phone calls. Once you get one item approved, go to the next item and then go to the item after that. Keep on getting items. It's sort of, like addictive. Once you get one item approved, you're like, I can do this. I can get more items. You got the heating oil, you can get the gas. Margaret, she's always on the live chats. She gets a new item every few days, a couple $100 here, a couple $1,000 there. She keeps on getting items. Don't be a one-call person. You call one time and say, I couldn't get them on the phone. I'm not going to call anymore. The reason why these people got these big sums of money is they keep on calling, and they keep on calling to all the different places I say in this video so that they can get the big sums of money. So consider becoming a member today. As we go into a big afternoon, we got a lot of shows, and I'm very excited for you. You know that Afternoons LA comes right up after the show. It's at 1 o'clock. Then the new Afternoons LA show at 3 o'clock. It's a big show tonight. Don't miss it. And the Evenings LA show at 5 is also a very, very big show. But now the shows from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. the next morning are all about for stimulus. The overnights LA shows, which run after our regular programming, are now all about for stimulus. So we have Evenings LA at 5 o'clock. We have Evenings Countdown at 6 o'clock. And then Stream Slimness at 7, Sirloin at 8. Then at 9, we have all the overnight shows all the way into 4 a.m.'s early mornings LA are all now about for stimulus, dating back to April. So we got a lot of information across this channel, shows on the hour, practically by the hour. And I don't want to miss you, so join me next on Afternoons LA starting at 1 o'clock. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers at YouTube record. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused. We got a lot coming up later today. There's a lot of breaking news, and stay with LA for more.